Hi, what's up everyone? This is Darren and I hope all of you are doing well. And as we are approaching the income tax submission period, many of you will be thinking of how you can get to maximize your loans, especially your housing loan, with all the present new measures. Because ultimately we still need to buy our home or invest into another unit, isn't it? So while we are busy focusing on that, we too need to know about how the banks looks into our credit report, and that is with the Credit Bureau Singapore, or CBS for short. But before we go into that, this is a message from my two little girls.
Hi everyone! Remember to like the video, subscribe to my daddy's channel. Bye!
Aren't they just adorable? Alright, into the video proper. What you see here are the members of the CBS, right? These are all the 20 financial institutions, alright? This would mean that they contribute to the data of a report, and they too take reference here to assess our credit worthiness. Now, with this knowledge, it will also mean you can strategize to maximum your TDSR and your loan quantum. Now, this strategy that I'm going to share with you is only recommended if you are already a good money manager of your own money, okay? Right? And that is to take on loans from institutions that are out of this list, meaning your car loan from an in-house company or another finance company, and it will not be reflected in this report. So basically what you're looking here right now is my personal report that I purchased recently. You can see this is on the 23rd of this month, right? And you can do the same. It costs you under $7. I actually put in the link in the comment section for you to refer. For this section, I've basically blocked out most of sensitive data, but I purposely left this here, right? My date of birth, right? So they can give you your blessings on this day, right? So, under summary, what this shows here basically tells you that my record came into this system back in 2009, and this is especially important because the longer runway you have in terms of history of data is going to give more accurate assessment for the banker versus someone who perhaps has opened his account only last year in 2021. All right. Previous entries will also mean that basically this is some inquiries that has actually inquired on my data. Now, for here accounts, there are 7. Okay, 7 means I've in total 7 credit accounts with them, but these will also consist of accounts that I have closed. Now I'll go into this a little more in a short while, right? And then here you see there's defaults, there's bankruptcy proceedings, all right, 00. Presently, this is something called a secured credit limit, right? Secured credit limit will actually involve things such as your motor vehicle loans on real estate, and your unsecured credit limit basically is your personal loans that you have presently and your credit card that has been merged together. If let's say your limit is 50K and you have 4 cards, for example, right? So it falls into that. And this is something special which is called exempted credit limit. This actually would mean student loan, staff benefit loan, or medical loan. All right. Now, so this is my report that you see in the first section. I wanted to just show you another report that has something different so you're able to appreciate what I'm trying to explain to you. So here would be the another report, and this is a sample report taken off the internet. It's a mock-up. So you will notice there are a few new entries here, right? What you see here again is the personal identification. This is a fictitious person, and here you can see that he started the account in 03. Yep, there are previous inquiries here also, accounts of 6. Now, what you want to see is actually the next few, and that will be the defaults, bankruptcy proceedings, right? Debt management program, or ID theft. So all this is definitely going to raise a red flag to the bank's approving officer. Let's move on. This is the next few sections. Over here again, these are information updated by the various banks, right? This is mine, male, Singaporean, married. This is the address, and these additional names are basically over the years where you have applied for a particular facility. The banks or the institutions will actually key in whatever they've keyed in, and then it would fill itself over here. and the addresses of what you actually gave them at the point in time. Okay, to me, it's not very important over here. Next one, this is what you see in the account status history, right? This section is important, and I will spend more time here. This section basically tracks your management of credit given to you and how good a paymaster you are, right? Here you notice that earlier you saw 7, right? So there are 7 here. And the bottom here, you realize there is an open and close date. So you can see that even though you have closed this account, it doesn't disappear from your report, right? It will continue to be displayed in your report for the next 3 years, right? And you also notice that this is my HDB loan, all right? And I was sharing with you my story about my journey in buying properties in Singapore. This is where we did some restructuring, and you can see that the loan falls under my single name instead of a joint name with my wife, and that's where we are able to buy our second property. Yeah, and this was done somewhere in 2017. Okay, now I want you to draw your focus to the last column, right? The last column basically states there are trust cycles that they monitor, of which the extreme left here, right, closest to this line, would be the latest month, and then down at the back would be on the 12th month, right? So it's 12 months, 12 cycles rotational. They are altogether 3 rows, right? The first row basically tells you, it grades you on how long you take to pay off your credit card that you used, right? Unsecured credit card. The second row will actually inform the bank either N or a Y, which is no or a yes, if you have actually took out cash advances, right? If it's a Y means from this card, I drew out some more cash. And the third row will tell you whether you have fully paid off your credit balances as of that month. If it's a yes, it's a Y. If it's no, means it's carried forward, and you put an N over here. All right. Let's take a closer look at some of the details. Right, so this is some of the explanations, right? And just show you, this is one of my cards. So this is my Citibank card that I got for a very long time, and this is my cashback card that I use only for petrol. Okay, so here you can see A would means current to 29 days past due. All right, here will be B will be equals to like almost 2 months already, followed by about 3 months overdue. And then here it tell you about this is more than that, 90 days or more. So obviously all this, if it appears here, it's not going to be good, right? The second here will tell you whether you took on cash advances, as what I mentioned earlier. And the last part tells you if you actually have fully paid your credit for that month or you did not, right? Now, this is the extension of the earlier sample where you can now see the different credit facilities this person had, right? You have 5 different facilities from motor vehicles to unsecured credit card. And obviously, you can see now it's a little bit more colorful to show you what it could be if you are not a good money manager of your own funds, right? So if I draw your attention here to the behavior pattern of this person, right, under bank C, yeah, you can see that he has opened this, applied for this, and was granted to him in 07, and he closed it in 10. But again, because you can see how he has been paying it off, right? In the initial months, he was really good, and thereafter, I'm talking about the past 12 cycles before he closed the account, right? So E would mean that he actually closed the account with no outstanding, but this would actually tell the banker or the approving officer that, hey, you're not a very good paymaster from A to B, C, and D, all right? And here, you didn't draw any additional cash out, and here you did close the last balance, but here you didn't, and there was a carry forward, and this will raise some concerns to the bank, all right? Now, how to get this into a better light, because irregardless when you close this account, it's going to be reflected for the next 3 years, right, in your report. So I'll actually advise and tell you to do this strategy, which is what I call the +1 -1. Because if you know that this is a 12-month cycle, what I will do to make this really nice is that instead of closing the account first, I will then just change this to an A by making a diligent payment. All right, make sure this is all A's. The bottom is all no. I didn't get any cash advances. And the last column here, the last row rather, I have been making full payments every month. And I transform all of this in the next perhaps 6 to 8 months, that everything will be all A's and Y, and then after that you can close your account. All right. This would mean that when the credit officer and the operating officer sees your credit report, he doesn't see all this. All this will have dropped off as the months goes past already. Does it make sense to you? Right? And this would mean that you imply that if you apply a loan with a bank, that you are of a low risk profile and a good manager of credit. Okay? Right? Oh yeah. So this is this is what it is. All right. Now this is the next part of the report that you see, right? This is what you don't see in my report. So you could see this in other people's report. All right. Default records. Okay. Again, this is something to be very concerned about because it will be displayed in your report for the next 3 years. All right. DRS would mean your debt repayment scheme, and this is actually provided by the IPTO or the Insolvency and Public Trustee Office on a weekly basis. All right. Next, you have your bankruptcy proceedings. These bankruptcy proceedings, basically, if it's reflected here, even if you're discharged, or rather, correction, if you're discharged from bankruptcy and the date is there that you're discharged already, all right, it will still be displayed here in your report for the next 5 years, right? So therefore, do not get yourself in such a situation.
But if you're in such a situation presently, there are some strategies that you can use to get yourself out of it. The first is your mindset. You need to be fully aware that massive action is needed, and being uncomfortable is going to be part of it. So brace yourself, your family members, for all of this that is to come. Next is money discipline. All right, we're always looking to invest in something to get better returns, 10-20% a year, isn't it? But honestly, to start paying back all your credit card balances, that is a savings or a gain of 24% interest already. All right, get yourself and work yourself towards getting yourself discharged from bankruptcy as soon as possible. And to speed things up along the way, if you own a property, use the real estate hack where you're able to rent out your room, draw some rental income, and use that to stack on top of what you can pay it off as fast as possible. And keep this going until you get yourself discharged. Okay? Now, moving on.
All right. For this section, it's about the last part already of the report. There are previous inquiries. So you can see previous inquiries will be basically either you go in to apply for a new facility or the bank did a review. So you can see that UOB, it seems to have a quite a system whereby they do come in on a yearly basis to check on my credit. All right. So yeah, this is done here, right? And for myself, they're giving me a score of 1967, which is a double A. Yeah, and this is for this range of 1911 to 2000. I think this is for double A. This equals to that. For me, I have a probability of defaulting on a loan of 0.12%. Right? Let's take a look at what does all the other color code means. So here you have from double A all the way to a double H. Right? The double H obviously red, right? It's a warning to the bank. Don't even do anything about it, right? Here the probability of default is between it's quite high to I think 3.48%. But basically, what this means is that the lower down towards the red color, they will actually mean that you'll be given a lower loan amount. Yeah. All right. And now this is something that you've seen in my previous inquiries with all the UOB, right? But if this is an example whereby if you did have a new application, right, in 09 November, you came in to Bank D looking for a motor car loan, then you came in again to get something else, and in 10 you came in for another motor loan, and then you came in for a real estate loan. Basically, All this can be tracked and will be in your report, and it will actually suggest a behavior whereby they will ask themselves, is this, or rather, are you in a desperate need for cash, right? Again, this is going to raise a red flag to the approving officer, right? And that's it for this report. But I wanted to share something with you because I think it is really interesting when I picked for my report and they actually gave this to me. Yeah, this is a bit small. I try to explain it as much as possible already. But here is this. Did you know that in the month January 22, right, for my age band of 40 to 44, they actually gave me an average aggregated balance of the loans in the people in my age group, right? I don't know how accurate this is, but I think it is because they have 20 members sitting in this, in the CBS anyway. Motor vehicle, 45%, right? Then you have the real estate loan, unsecured interest and non-interest bearing, and then personal loan also. Yep, the motor vehicle you can see is quite healthy, right? You have at least 60 over percent with loans below or rather under $50,000. And then you have unsecured credit card, aggregated interest bearing, and majority 70% of the people in my age group, all right, owes less than $1,000. All right. Unsecured credit card, this is as a non-interest bearing. You have majority under 5,000. Yeah, this is mixed up about almost 80%. And unsecured personal loan, again, the mass majority owes less than $20,000, right? And look at the real estate. Huh? This real estate data captures private, residential, EC, HDB, and commercial properties. And if you look at it, you realize that all the way up to the $500,000 mark, right? Okay, this is 3 to 500K, 16.86%. If you add all these figures out, it will seem that the national debt of people in my age group is not too high, right? We have more than 75% owing less than $500,000 in housing loans. Yep. And I think this data, at least I feel, if I look at it just for this age group, it suggests that there is a success of the TDSR, right? Which may also suggest the possible holding power of property owners in people in my age group, and also the reason why the buyers are getting the shorter end of the stick.
In summary, adding on to what I've already mentioned, be conscious on how you repay all your credit facilities. Set out to establish a long credit history, right? Apply for your first credit card as soon as possible. And then, of course, be a good money manager and create the right habits from the start. And this skill will pay off when you continue to accumulate more credit facilities, larger amounts in future to grow your assets. And finally, holding on to a AA rating is especially important if you are considering using the strategy of equity loan. Because anything below AA, the banks may lower their loan assessments for you. Alright? I've come to the end of the video and I hope every one of you enjoyed it and learned something today. Thank you all for watching and till next time.